What's up, guys? Sean Rochester here for 5 Reasons Sports, bringing you my 5 keys for Heat Nets Wednesday night, November 1st. Coming home for the first of a few games at the Kaseya Center. Before we get into that, make sure you check out the link in the description below for Finish Line. Get yourself $10 off a $100 purchase from Finish Line, maybe some Heat gear, whatever you want to get from the Finish Line. My 5 keys, put those out in a tweet earlier today. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, with a little bit more information with the injuries that I've learned since then. The first one I talked about, solving the offensive woes. The Heat have just struggled offensively, and it's been a common theme through all these games. The eye test, you can look at data, it doesn't matter. Anyone can see that the Heat are struggling on offense, especially with the injuries that they've suffered and had people out. The Nets are a bottom 5 defensive rating, so it's an opportunity for the Heat to maybe help their offense get boosted a little bit. They are dead last in forcing turnovers, so it shouldn't be a problem. The Heat are also very good at taking care of the basketball, so that shouldn't be a problem tonight. We may never be a powerhouse. We may never be one of those great offensive teams that, on any given night can put up 120, 130. We really struggle to score 100 sometimes. And what I really think is, especially with the injuries that we'll talk about on the Nets side, more rim attempts, more threes, less reliance on the mid-range. I'm not anti-mid-range. We have guys that can operate in that area, but I think the heavy reliance, almost 45% of our attempts coming from the mid-range, it's just too much. And it's becoming a problem, I think, in how we're going about our offense. Second key is taking care of business tonight. The Nets are going to be without Nick Claxton. They're going to be without Cam Johnson. They're going to be without Spencer Dinwiddie. They're going to be without Dennis Smith Jr. There is no excuse for the Miami Heat tonight. I think they are 5.5-point favorites on Better Edge. Make sure you check out Better Edge. Use code 5RSN. There is no reason for them to lose. They have to get the job done. I don't care if there are small injuries. It looks like Haywood Highsmith may come back. Caleb Martin's going to still be out. You have to go out there and get a win on your home floor. When you have this opportunity, you can't let them slip. And we remember last season, how many times did we see these opportunities, these late scratches, and the Heat still couldn't get it done. And we just can't do that right now, especially on the heels of losing 3 in a row off of that season opening win. Get a win, get some momentum, get some confidence, and then move forward, especially with the Nets being shorthanded. My third key, Jimmy Butler. A lot of conversation about him in the last couple of days. Per my sources, as I checked the calendar, the season just started last week. To have any panic over Jimmy Butler after 4 games, anything more than minimal concern, is absolutely ridiculous. If you watched him play playoff basketball for any of the last few years, why are you panicking about him right now? He's going to have a fall off eventually. He's going to get older, and he's going to become less of what he is. But after 4 games, a guy that didn't have a preseason, if we're going to react like this because he's had a couple bad games, sat out a game, things like that, do you think he's pouting? No, I don't. Do I think he is disinterested? No, I don't. He's just having a couple bad games. And I'd like to see him against a team that is not good defensively, although they do have good long wings that I think are going to make it hard for him. I think that this is a good opportunity for him to go out there and show what he can do, that he's not a shell of himself. Get to the rim, put pressure on the rim, work out of that mid-range, that 12 to 15 foot, catch, face, do the same thing with Jaquez, do the same thing with Bam, and attack. Get to the rim or spray it out to the shooters. My fourth one is continuing to talk about Bam. And I said mouse in the house because Claxton's not there. They are going to start either Dorian Finney-Smith or Ben Simmons on Bam. Ben Simmons is a good matchup. Strong, just as tall. Dorian Finney-Smith, you cannot tell me that, and he's a good defender, and I like that him as a player. He would be a great Heat player. He cannot guard Bam Adebayo. There is just no chance. You don't do the fadeaways. You don't lean away from the basket. You don't, avoid contact. Power dribble, attack, off that face-up, put him in the basket. Out physical, out tough, out everything him. That's what you have to do. And when they go to Trenton Wofford or whoever else they put on the bench, off the bench, you cannot not dominate this matchup, especially with Claxton not in there. Bam's got to have a good game. Bam's got to have a good game on the boards, which he hasn't really done so far this season. And the last one, looking at the Nets, because they're going to be shorthanded, obviously Mikal Bridges is a huge piece of that, but Cam Thomas, he has scored 30 points in all of the Nets games. We've got to do a good job of keeping him off his spots, limiting what he does, keep him around, 15, 20, and you're fine. But you let him go off for 30 plus, He's part of why they have the 6th best offensive rating in the league. They have one of the best effective field goal percentages. They get to the basket, in terms of getting to the free throw line and things like that. You just cannot let him go off. Highsmith may be back. Caleb will not. We don't have great guards in terms of defense. You have to find a way to contain him. You can't be going off on Tyler, going off on Kyle, Drew Smith, whoever else goes out there. Okay? Looking forward to a great game tonight. We'll be on playback. I'll be on the post-game show with Greg and Brian. Check us out on 5 Reasons Sports.